Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today what we're going to be watching is High Potential. It's a new show on ABC. This is actually episode 2. So just a recap in case anybody missed the first episode. It is about Morgan. She is the main character. She is played by Caitlin Olsen, who does a great job by the way. She is a single mother of 3 children. And she has an high IQ of 160. So she actually consults on murder cases. Pretty interesting how she started to consult in episode 1. She was basically the cleaning lady at a police department. And, she knocked over some papers and she corrected their murder board. So the detective came in the next day, obviously upset that somebody wrote on his murder board, and they watched security footage, found out it was her. And basically she helped consult on that case. So she has 3 children. Her oldest daughter is Ava. She has a son named Elliot, and she has an infant named Chloe. Now, her son Elliot is gifted just like her. They had a scene in the grocery store where they were figuring up the numbers and just their conversation. So that's interesting that her young son has the same gifted with numbers and mathematics as Morgan. And Elliot and Chloe, from what we understand, has the same father. But her oldest daughter, Ava, her dad disappeared or vanished when Ava was little. So Morgan, the single mother, she believes that he would not have left, her and his daughter. So she feels something happened to him. Ava believes her dad ran off on him and is kind of upset that her mom won't accept that. But Morgan agreed to consult on murder cases on one condition. Her one condition to the lieutenant was like, yes, I'll help you, but you need to help me find, my oldest daughter's father. So he's been missing. I think something happened to him. He would never left his daughter. So that's kind of a nice little backstory that they put out on the first episode. Kind of like as she goes along, every episode she's going to help solve a case. But there's going to be this little backstory of what happened to Eva's dad. Did he really run out on him, or did something happen to him and that he vanished or disappeared? So I like that they kind of have that backstory there, which I think is always interesting. You kind of lay out that early on in the season, and in this they kind of did it right away in the first episode. So that is very interesting to me. So I'm really interested to see where this next show goes. But just kind of wanted to give you the backstory in case you haven't seen the first episode, because what we're going to watch together today is High Potential episode 2. So if you want to watch it with me, which is always so fun, I'm going to go ahead and show you what's on the screen, and then I can count it down and we can watch it together. So just give me a couple minutes here and we will get to it. I'm excited to watch it with you. There were some funny parts in the first episode just showing how smart she is. So that was really interesting. So all right, so in the beginning here, I believe it goes just right on into it. Let's see. Yeah, so it aired after Dancing with the Stars, and as soon as Dancing with the Stars ends, it goes right on into it. So I'm gonna show you what it shows on the screen, and then we will count it down. I'm excited to watch this with you. It's such a great show. I really hope it lasts because it looks really good. I love the dynamic of her being a single mother, holding down different jobs, and then basically knocking over a box at the police station and looking at police photos and saying, oh no, that's not the suspect, that's the victim. And obviously, like I say, it upset the detective, and before you know it, they're coming after her to help her solve cases. So it's definitely an interesting dynamic for sure. All right, so I'm going to pause it. The first scene is a car. So basically, I've just paused it on the road. So it goes kind of right on into it. So I'm going to count it down and we can watch it together and kind of just talk about it at the end. So definitely stay with me till the end so we can kind of have our little Gen review and talk about it. So I'm going to count it down. 3, 2, 1, go. Here we go. So 2 guys driving in a car. Oh, going down an alley. Ooh. Okay. What are they doing here? Oh, okay. All right, so he's got tap shoes on and he is dancing on the roof and they're recording it. Oh, wow, they're good. They're tap dancing on the roof and making a video. They're good. Look at them go. Love it. They're good. Oh, snap. Woo! Okay. All right. Well, they were dancing on the roof, and now all of a sudden he got thrown off the roof and is lying on the car they drove in. What was that about? Okay. Woo! Little turn of events there. Okay. All right. Now we're seeing the intro and we're seeing Morgan in her house. Trying to pick out her outfit. Just picking out her outfit, talking to her infant. All right. So Elliot's dad and dad of the infant Chloe is going to babysit. All right, so she's on the crime scene or at the crime scene. Is that going up to the roof? Okay, let's see. Hmm. She's got a theory. Hmm. So he didn't die. He apparently is in the hospital. So I still love her obscure, her obscure little tidbits of information. Um, so I mean, he's in the hospital right now, and he has this phone. So the phone that she found um, is is somebody else's, but um, I don't think it was the person that was on the roof with him. I mean, it could be, um, but it just seemed like they were both tap dancing together. Like they seemed friends. Like they were either learning together or, and they were taping it. And so it seems like maybe that's, maybe that's something that they do. And it was more secret. Maybe they didn't want, to get made fun of for tap dancing. Who knows? Or maybe it was just something fun that they like to do. So, first, obviously, my first gut reaction is it was not the second person that was with them. Because, even in the 2 seconds we saw them dancing, they looked like, oh, no, this is how you do this step. And they were, so my gut reaction is that a third person showed up on the roof, pushed them off. And maybe the other guy ran. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's the first 5 minutes of the show. So I'm not going to go with the obvious that, oh, obviously it was the person tap dancing with them, threw him off the roof and ran away. I feel like there's got to be more to it. So, and I'm sure there is like a backstory to both characters. But my gut reaction is it's going to be somebody else. Somebody else knocked over the camera, pushed the guy off the roof, and the other guy ran or something like that. Because it couldn't have been the guy tap dancing with him, I wouldn't think, because the camera was pushed over. So remember, he had like the selfie stick, he had the phone on there, or shit, camera, but phone camera. And then he was pushed off the roof. The camera, it looks like the stand was pushed down, and the phone that was recording it was pushed under the brick that she found. So that makes me believe a third person came up on the roof, pushed over the phone, camera, put it in there, and then pushed him off the roof. The other guy ran. Maybe he struggled with him. Because if it was the other guy, who pushed him off the roof, he would have gone back, picked up his phone, and left. You know what I'm saying? The fact that the second phone was still there, that was actually recording it, and it wasn't Damien's, like Damien, the guy who got pushed off the roof, had his phone on him, means that that phone belonged to the second person who was actually, starting the filming on his phone. So if it were him, I would assume he would have grabbed it, right? So that kind of makes me believe again that there has to have been a third person on that roof that actually pushed him off. But what happened to the second guy? Did he struggle with them too? Or was he in on it? Was it like they were setting him up to push him off the roof? I don't know. I just think it couldn't have been the second guy. Otherwise, he would have collected his phone. And since that was kind of pushed over, that makes me believe that. But let's see what happens. Here we go. We're getting back. Let's see. Hmm. An ass pattern. I love her. All right, she's talking to Lieutenant. All right, so she's asking the lieutenant about it. It was 15 years ago. So, yes, her daughter is 15 years old. We didn't know how old she was. Now we do. He ran out when she was a baby. So, oh, okay. So there is video of him tap dancing. All right, they're going to go see if they can talk to him. They're going to see if the family knows anything. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Oh, she figured out who was with them on the roof. Okay, that was quick. Ooh. Mm. I knew it. Somebody else pushed him. I knew it. What's she looking at? She's looking at something. Those wheels are turning in her mind. I can see it. Okay. Ooh. Nice, Morgan. Okay, Morgan. So it was too obvious that it was the guy, obviously. So there was a third guy. And basically, what he was going after Damien, apparently, because he said he pushed the other guy down, fell on his butt. That's why his butt was hurting, and pushed him off the roof and then fled. So, I mean, if they wanted both of them, you would think he would have pushed the second guy off. He just kind of bumped into him and went after him. So that's my next question. Was he targeted? Because it kind of feels like he was, because even though he pushed the other guy down, I feel like he had an opportunity. They were both standing right next to the edge on that ledge to dance. So I would think he would have been able to push both of them over, or at least one and then the other. So that's kind of the next question that we have is, was he targeting him? And from what we heard about the second dancer, he wasn't that great. Like, Damien was teaching him. So that makes that's telling you that Damien was the experienced one. So maybe they were just targeting him. So, I mean, I love the way Morgan kind of finds these little tidbits. She knows the history of the car. So she was like, all right, how did he get in? And I feel like that's always kind of, how did they get to the crime scene? So basically, I mean, this was premeditated. He rigged the trunk, knew they were going to do this, rigged the trunk, got in it, waited for his opportunity to get out of the trunk, and then go up and basically surprise them. So in this case, I definitely think they were just targeting Damon. We just got to find out why. Now, according to his mom, he's really, really good saving up money to go to New York. So it could be a jealousy thing. Or it could just be a revenge thing because, like they said, the body shop hires ex-cons and, juveniles that have been in trouble try to get their life together. So anytime there's an incident like that, it could be something from his past. He's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to turn his life around. And he's very talented at tap dancing. So I think in this case, since he's on life support, I always say, well, they're probably going to pass because, that's the show. It's murder cases. But if he's on life support, he's not really able to tell them anything, basically. So maybe hopefully in this case, he can survive and they can still solve the case of the attempted murder. So, I mean, I always hope for the best. You always want people to pull through and make it. And I feel like, we always want to root for that underdog. We want people to turn their life around. We want people to do well. So, we're going to see what happens here, but definitely good. Now we're going to go see and question the people at the auto shop and see, who could have been rigging the car to hide in the trunk. So hopefully it'll be coming on here in just a few minutes. So I'm excited. I think it's good. We'll see how Morgan figures it out. All right, it's coming back on. They're in the auto shop. Hmm. All right, Mork is alone with the auto shop, guys. Let's see. All right, she got the information. I love Morgan. I love her. So they're at home talking with the kids. She's good. She's artistic. Her father's an artist too. Okay, so a little bit of turmoil here with her daughter Ava. All right, so a little bit of turmoil. Teenagers are teenagers, but so basically, she got an A on her art project. It was really good. So her mom showed her some artwork that her dad did. Her dad is such a gifted and talented artist that he would make murals around Los Angeles on walls all over. So beautiful, very talented. So in the first episode, we saw Ava, the oldest, get a little agitated because she doesn't have her mother's gift, right? We saw Elliot, her son, has that gift. He's very mathematical and can just has that high IQ. So she's like, he has it. Chloe will probably have it. I don't have it. And Morgan's like, well, Chloe's an infant, so we don't know yet. But, now that she did well in art, she's finally like, hey, I've been keeping these for 15 years. Your father's an artist too. You're upset you didn't get mine gift, but you got your father's gift. You're a great artist. So she's still a little annoyed. She doesn't care that her dad's a great artist because she still feels very hurt that basically her dad ran out on him. But Morgan doesn't think so. Morgan thinks something happened to him. He disappeared. That something happened to her, her father, and she's having the LAPD look into it. So, and Ava's like, yeah, whatever. I just want to get the car back because the car's in the shop and they can't afford to get it out. But, I think it's really interesting. Like I said, that's kind of one of those little backstories. You're probably not going to see a lot about it yet because it's kind of going to be building throughout this season about Ava's dad and his disappearance or vanished. But that's interesting. Just a little side note there, and we'll see what happens with the tap dancer case. I really think Morgan's going to find something interesting. But I knew there had to be a third person. So now we're just going to, what was the motive of the third person? I'm assuming jealousy, envy, who knows? So let's see if we can at least try to find out why, I think is the main thing. Why and what's the reason behind it. So they're going to track down all of the alibis. Morgan got all the alibis from the auto shop. We just got to figure out if they all check out. But I really hope he pulls through. I like that they put him on life support and it wasn't a definite, he died from the fall. So hopefully, I'm a sucker for happy endings always. So let's hope Morgan can figure it out, and let's hope it stays an attempted murder case and Damien pulls through. So, I always hope for that. But I definitely like the way, her mind's always working. So let's get back to it and see how it goes. Very, very exciting though. All right, here we are. Let's get back to it. Oh, actually, I apologize. This is another ad for an ABC show. Right now it's back on. Uh-oh, she had an epiphany. She's thinking. Okay, so it wasn't Damien, it was Roland. Okay. He's at a party. They're going. All right, come on. So it wasn't Damien they were after. It was Roland because they couldn't see who they pushed off the roof. So they pushed the wrong person. All right, girl, get to him. Get to him. They're at the club. Oh no. They got to him. They got to him. Oh, oh. I couldn't get to him in time. Darn it. Okay. All right. Well, so I was trying to think if Damon was targeted. So the other guy, Roland, was actually the one they were targeting. But what Morgan figured out was it was too dark. And the way the moon was at the time, they couldn't see who they pushed off the roof. So they actually were trying to push off Roland. So once they figured out it was Damien, they were like, we still have, I mean, I'm still after Roland. So that's when Morgan was like, we got to find Roland because, you know, if they didn't kill him, realize they pushed the wrong person off the roof, they're going to go after him. So now they have to switch focus. Now we need to figure out who would want Roland dead and not Damon. So let's hope they can figure that out. Who knows if they want anybody else. I don't think Damien would have saw who it was that pushed him off the roof. Roland said he didn't. He just remembers being pushed back, and the other guy pushed him off the roof. So Roland obviously didn't know who it was, but he was the intended target. So unfortunately, they didn't get to him in time. So from what it looks like, you know, when they found him in the club, he was holding his stomach, and I don't think he had any movement. I mean, they can see if maybe he's unconscious, maybe he just lost a lot of blood, but it really looked like that they killed him. So that's a little sad because, I mean, we just saw him in the last scene. So basically, the way I think it's going to play out now is Damien is going to recover. He's on life support, but he is going to recover. The intended target was Roland, and they succeeded. They just, killed him in the club, which is going to be difficult to investigate because, A, there's a lot of people in the club. People aren't paying attention to what's going on around them. And, if you have to question everybody, I mean, there's so many people moving back and forth. If you're doing fingerprints, there's a lot of people go in that area. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult, I would think, to investigate that particular area that he was killed. So I'm not sure this is making it any easier. You know what I mean? Oh, well, nobody really saw anything. So we'll see what Morgan can figure out. Hopefully she can see some clue, figure something out. But it's kind of difficult when you're killed in that manner because people really aren't going to see much in a dark club, just like on the roof. So I'm kind of curious on where they're going to go now. I'm assuming they're still going to go with the auto shop or somebody who had knowledge of the auto shop just simply because of the trunk thing. But it's interesting to see where they're going to go now. Let's see it. Let's see when it comes back on. Another ad for an ABC show. But I'm sure Morgan has, she's going to think of something. Or maybe Damien will wake up and help us and give us a clue. Let's see. All right, so they're at the club. Yeah. Oh, so terrible. He passed. Okay, maybe they will find something at the club. Let's see. Okay, so they're seeing them get shot. So he figured out Roland was the target, but she didn't get to him in time. But her mind's racing. All right, so she's taking a walk. Okay. Okay. This is awesome. I knew when they did this that she was going to get involved of the robbery. So somebody else is having a robbery case. She sees something that sparks her interest with her murder case. And now she's going to try to compare them, see if it's the same killer. They were in it together, maybe. Maybe. I see more. Yeah, Lieutenant. Tell him. Okay. Was Roland. Ooh. All right, so she basically linked it. I had an inkling this was going to happen at the beginning. So at the beginning, this older detective, he's like, look, he does robbery, homicide, and he's got this case. He's got 5 robberies. And he's getting a lot of pressure because he still hasn't solved the case. So he asks for somebody to help him, and the lieutenant gives them one of her detectives. But Morgan, I knew she was somehow going to get involved. So they're in the police station, and they're talking, and she's like, I got to go for a walk. So she passes the office where they have their board on all the robberies, and she sees something that clicks. She sees some flare, almost some spark coming out of the gun, and that's what she noticed when Roland was killed, because they do have footage of it, but obviously you can't see the killer. But you can see the spark coming out of the gun. So she feels like they're connected. So I love the way she connected. She's so good. There's gonna be something, I don't know what it is. It's going to be something small, as always, but she's going to figure it out. I just know it because I love Morgan. She's so good. So let's see. I mean, she'll figure it out. I don't know. I love what she did so far. Now we just got to figure out how she's going to narrow it down to the auto guy. But that makes sense. Roland was the driver for the robbery, and then he decided to make these videos with Damon, and Damon was teaching him how to tap dance, get his life back on track. And the jewelry robber was like, "Hey, I'm afraid you're going to out me now. You know what I mean? You're not going to be my driver anymore, but you already know too much, and I don't want you to turn me in." So that's kind of why he was going to go after him. So now we just got to figure out how she's going to figure out who the robber is. I have a feeling she's probably going to try to go after how they got the gun, because it's an old-fashioned gun. So I wouldn't think that that's common. So I'm assuming that's probably going to come into play. I mean, why use such an old gun? Because that would be very distinctive. So I'm hoping maybe that's the link. She figures out, one of the workers, has family ties or something that gets them where the gun is. So we shall see if that comes into play, or just exactly how Morgan figures it out. So we will see for sure. So it's coming to the very end of the show, so I'm sure, she's gonna find out here in the last couple minutes. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'm excited to see how she figures it out. Let's see. Here we go. They did a sting. I was thinking that too. They knew it was going to have to be on the bus route, the next robbery, so I figured they would have done that. Because remember, he has to pick a robbery of a jewelry store next to the bus station now. That's how she knew which one he was going to hit. All right. Knew she'd figure it out. I thought it would be about the gun. It wasn't, but she figured it out. That's all that matters. She got her first paycheck. Maybe she'll get a car out of the shop. Damien's awake. Yes, I was hoping he'd pull through. Yes. Yes. Knew it, he'd make it. Yay. She did have enough for her paycheck to get her car out of the shop. All the kids are happy got the car out of the shop. All right, it's the little things. Getting your car out of the shop. Uh-oh. Oh, no, I'm crying. Oh. Oh, so they're going to figure out what happened to him. He knew it. Oh, okay. Whew. All right, well, that was a lot. Here's a preview for next week. Whew. Ooh. Okay. Okay, well, whew, that was a lot. Whew, okay, so we got a little bit to talk about. That was a lot. Whew. All right. Well, all right. Lot to talk about. So, I hope you enjoyed watching the High Potential show with me. Stay tuned and watch my video on the review so that we can talk about it. So, hope to see you soon. And if you enjoyed it like I did, I hope you like and subscribe. Talk to you soon. Bye. We will talk about the show.